Hello there, Eagles fans, and welcome back to our Eagles Therapy Podcast. My name is Basil.
And I'm Baz.
And we are recording Saturday, February 3rd, 2024 on this beautiful snowy afternoon we got going outside. What do we got, about 6 inches today, Dad?
Yeah, it was a lot. I shoveled the walk twice, but it's slushy. It's a warm, wet snow, but we're supposed to still get some more. But it was pretty piled up pretty good this afternoon.
So nice snowy day here out in Colorado Springs. Just coming at a little midweek episode, or I guess not midweek, it's Saturday, but you know what I mean. Middle of the wait for the Super Bowl, I should say. Super Bowl coming up next Sunday. We're kind of just waiting it out. You know, tomorrow's going to be weird. It's going to be the first Sunday without football since the beginning of the before the season. Right. So it's just kind of, man, I don't know what to do tomorrow. I don't know what we're going to do.
Cut the grass? Oh, no,
can't. Watch this episode, I guess. I don't know. I have no idea. It's going to be a weird day, but we're going to talk about some other stuff aside from the Super Bowl. We'll save that for upcoming week's preview episode, but we're going to be talking about some of the Eagles stuff, of course, some specifics, coach hirings, changes, some player stuff. Then we got a little list that we'll go over, a little surprise at the end there that's not Eagles related. Talk about some other sports as always on our outro and everything like that. But before that, as always, we'd like to give a plug to the club. We are part of the Philadelphia Eagles fan club in Colorado Springs, and we watch every single Eagles game at Frankie's on Powers and Galley. I don't know if we're going to be doing a Super Bowl watch party there. We'll let you guys know if anything happens. We are probably going to be doing the draft there. Again, we'll update that. But go ahead and join that club on Facebook and come on down to Frankie's on Powers and Galley here in Colorado Springs. If you're an Eagles fan and you want to watch the game with us. But starting off going into it, Dad, just some Eagles stuff first. A.J. Brown.
Well,
there's
there's rumors.
Yeah, there's all this dumb talk, and it all started with WIP. Someone said something about the Eagles trading A.J. Brown, and it's the dumbest
No, it's
thing
your
I've
typical
ever heard.
off-season fare. You know, that's what happens. Oh, we got to do something. We need to get some fans calling in the radio show, and we got to make some grumblings. Let's throw this out there, but no, there's no way. You know, we talked about it already. There's no way they're going to get rid of AJ. He's been
it's insane.
Probably one of the best wide receivers we have ever had for sure in our team. And
in 2 years with us, AJ has over 2,900 receiving yards. He's got what I believe 17 receiving touchdowns, not including the playoffs. That's just regular season.
Right. Wow.
You know, I know this year he didn't get any of the playoffs, but last year, you know, he had a few.
Yeah.
And one of the touchdown I know for sure.
Definitely.
You know, like it blows my mind that this is actually a thing that people will talk about. Like, I can't believe this is a thing, especially Eagles fans in this city who have endured one of probably the longest documented histories of horrible wide receivers. Now, I'm not a full historian of football. I like to think I am, but I'm not. So there are other teams that may have had longer droughts with bad receivers, I'm sure. But the Eagles have a very, very well documented history.
Oh, for sure.
Of just terrible and underachieving wide receivers.
And first round picks. I mean, never panned out. I mean,
and the fact that you would, just the fact that after all that, you would say, oh, let's trade. You know, when we have Devontae and AJ, we have two of the best wide receivers in Eagles history right now.
Yeah.
Right now.
Combo for sure.
At the same time.
Yeah.
And I'd say they're both top 5 Eagles wide receivers, at least top 10 ever.
Yeah.
I mean,
give them a few more years.
There's a
few.
There's a few ahead with Mike Quick and AJ. I'm sorry, Mike Quick and Deshaun Jackson and maybe Barnett, Carmichael.
Yeah,
there's people, but
Macklin,
these guys are already top 10.
Yeah.
All-time Eagles wide receivers.
That quick. 2 years.
2 years.
3 years.
3 years. Yes, you're right. But
Devontae.
in the next few seasons, after 5 seasons, I can't imagine they're already going to be top 5 and possibly one day 1 and 2.
Oh, for sure.
I mean, we'll see.
I think so.
We'll see what happens. But what I have here, Dad, is just a little bit of history of just some Eagles wide receivers over the last 20 years. Now, no, actually, let me start off with before 20 years, actually.
Okay.
Eagles history. The Eagles have had 9 wide receivers in our history make the Pro Bowl. This is not including alternates, okay? This is 9 wide receivers who have made the Pro Bowl. Of those 9 players, they have made 21 Pro Bowls altogether. So 21 times in our history. How many years have we been around?
Since 1933.
So 91? About to be 91. 90. Let's say 90.
Okay.
Been around for 90 seasons. 21 of those seasons have had a Pro Bowl wide receiver. 21 of those seasons out of 90.
Right.
And you want to trade away a guy who's 2 of those?
Right. Yeah.
Let's take away his.
Right.
That's 19.
Yeah.
That's 19 over those 90 seasons. Right. I can't believe it. Now, we've had 3 first-team All-Pros, 2 for Mike Quick, 1 for T.O.
Okay.
AJ has made 2 second-team All-Pros. I do not have the list of all-time second-team All-Pros because it's impossible to find for some reason. They don't want you to know that.
Well, yeah.
But for first-team All-Pros, wide receivers, we've only had 3. 2 for Mike Quick, 1 for T.O. in 04. AJ has made 2 second teams back-to-back seasons.
Wow.
Back-to-back seasons. 2 seasons, 2 Pro Bowls, 2 second-team All-Pros, almost 3,000 total yards, and over almost 20 touchdowns, including like playoff stuff. 20 touchdowns.
So now, did you break that down by players that we actually drafted, or
no? This is just all players.
Because I'm sure some of those other ones were free agents as well.
Oh, I'm sure. Well, T.O. That's number 1.
Irvin Fryer was definitely
he was absolutely. He's one of those guys.
Yeah,
yep, that's right. Sure. It's just it's unbelievable. But AJ is a free agent thing. We didn't draft him, so I can't count him as that part. But it just blows my mind that after all this, we're going to talk about trading this guy. Now, here's the last 20 years. From 2000 to 2020, I just have those guys because in 21 we got Devontae, and then 2 and 3 we had both him and AJ. Gotcha. But from 2000 to 2020, I'm just going to lay out some notable wide receivers that I'm sure a lot of Eagles fans are going to watch, and they're going to go like this.
Oh, my gosh.
Ready? Okay.
Yeah.
Todd Pinkston.
Okay.
2nd-round pick. 5 seasons. 2,816 yards, 14 touchdowns, 36 yards per game.
Wow.
In his career with us. 36 yards per game. In his career, I'm sorry. He didn't play after us. 36 yards per game. And it's funny, the worst thing that could happen is when you part ways with a player and he's not on another team.
Right.
That's one of the worst things that can happen.
Right.
You part ways with a player and no one signs him. You're like, oh, no one.
Yeah.
We're just idiots.
Yeah.
And that's
why'd we keep him so long?
Yeah. So Todd Pinkston.
Right.
James Thrash. Now, he was undrafted, so I'll give him that.
Right.
3 seasons with us, and he's one of the better ones.
Yeah.
3 seasons, 2,026 yards, 15 touchdowns, 43.1 yards per game. It's not terrible.
No.
But that was one of our number ones.
Right.
I'm just saying that. That's one of our number ones. Freddie Mitchell. First round.
Collective groan there.
I can't imagine. That's why I had to give a pause. I wanted everyone at home to have a moment to go, ugh. First round pick, 4 seasons, 1,263 yards, 5 touchdowns, 20 yards per game.
First round
pick. 20 yards per game. Man. All right, let's go Reggie Brown. Some of that people, this is another, really one of the better ones.
Yeah, he was good.
2nd-round pick.
Right.
5 seasons, 2,574 yards, 17 touchdowns in 5 seasons.
Yeah, that's, no.
35.8 yards per game.
Yeah, no, that's not good.
35.8 yards per game.
Right.
That was our number 1 at one point. From what?
And we kept him for 5 years.
Yeah, 5 seasons.
It's crazy.
Not 2.
Right.
Hank Baskett. Undrafted player, so we'll give him, give him that. 5 years. 5 years.
We kept him that
Why
way.
do we keep?
Yeah.
1,052 yards, 6 touchdowns, 21 yards per game.
Wow. So I can remember Hank Baskett had that one 82-yard touchdown or 87-yard touchdown. So take that off the board, and you just cut it down even more.
And there was probably a fluke broken tackle on it too, or something.
Oh, it was a beautiful play. But then they're the kind of plays that you go, why don't we do that more often?
Yeah.
I think that he only had 1 in his career. He might have 2 long touchdowns in his career, and that's it.
Now we'll get into some more heartbreaking ones, the more recent ones that just hurt more than anything. J.J. Arcega-Whiteside, 2nd-round pick, 3 seasons, 290 yards, 1 touchdown.
That's crazy.
7.3 yards per game.
That is unbelievable.
And I know this guy wasn't our number 1 the whole time, but let me just point out let me paint it out for you. He played for us in 2020. He played for us in 2019. I'm sorry. He played for us in 19 and 20.
Okay.
In 2019, do you remember what happened at the end of 2019? Everyone died.
Right.
Alshon, Aguilar, Deshaun Jackson, Dallas Goedert.
Yeah.
We went into the postseason with, Greg Ward was our number 1. JJ was our number 2. And in those games, J.J. Arcega-Whiteside couldn't do anything.
That's amazing.
In those games. And I know he wasn't number 1. Greg Ward was, who was an undrafted free agent who was on the practice squad since 2017, but who was getting more yards than JJ, but whatever.
That is bad.
But J.J. Arcega-Whiteside, and that one hurts a lot because DK Metcalf was drafted two picks later. The next pick hurts a lot, but 7.3 yards per game. Let's go to the worst one, in my opinion. Jalen Reagor.
Oh, yeah.
1st-round pick, 2 years, 695 yards, 24.8 yards per game. I didn't even write down his touchdowns because I don't care.
Yeah.
Well, I can't even mention them.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That was bad.
And the biggest thing about that is if my Vikings friend is watching, Justin Jefferson was there for the taking, of course.
He's going to probably finish his career top 10 receiver of all time.
Wouldn't doubt it.
If he stays on his trajectory.
Before this season, I had said he would be the greatest ever. But an injury does affect a lot of things.
And this year was tough.
For them. So we'll see. But I agree with you. He'll be a top 10.
He's still amazing.
He'll be a top 10.
And how you could not see that.
It's incredible.
It's incredible.
It blows my mind. It just hurts to look at these names. Now I'll name out a few others over time who did have some good seasons, but still you have to think of it and go, he was our number one at one point. Right. That was our leading receiver. Kevin Curtis, now he had a great season. He had really one great season, 1,200 yards. Yeah. I don't know how many
Sneaky
touchdowns.
Fast.
Yeah.
Great hands.
But that was his only year of what's the word? Being good or of
shine for us.
Yeah, I mean, that was his only year. And I don't know how many seasons he played with us. Greg Ward, he's still on the team.
Yeah.
He was our number one wide receiver back in 19 and the end of 20.
Right.
And he was a godsend, and he was getting 700 yards.
And they never bring him in.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like back then, it was 700 yards, and we were like, "Oh, this guy's
great.
This guy's amazing." Now we have a guy who's doubling that.
Right.
And we're gonna talk about trading.
Right.
Travis Fulgham.
I know.
2020, 750 yards.
Yeah.
He was incredible. For 4 games, he was the greatest wide receiver in history. Yeah. This is the problem with the arguments that when people talk about, in their prime, I don't care about prime. Because Travis Fulgham in his prime is the greatest wide receiver to ever play football.
Yeah.
And then I'll talk about other guys. Jason Avant, who was a good, receiver.
First down guy.
But we had him for 8 years? 7 years?
If you go to his touchdowns, it would be.
Let's talk about the racist guy, Riley Cooper.
Yeah.
He was one of our guys.
Yeah.
We had to have him as the number one receiver.
Yeah.
And he was getting 800 yards? 890 maybe.
Super fast.
It was incredible. It's so sad to look back sometimes and you're just like,
So you don't want to break up finally have a great wide receiver duo.
It just blows my mind.
It does.
We went through all of this over the last 20 years.
Yes.
And there was some shining. Deshaun Jackson was a consistently great receiver.
Yeah.
Jeremy Maclin gave us one good season. He did get an alternate Pro Bowl. That's why I didn't mention him
And
before.
he did play for us for several years. And then we finally, I think it was Chip that got rid of him. But
he didn't. Well, no, he didn't really want to come back.
That's right.
Because it was after the Deshaun and then Michael Vick and Shady, and he was like, I don't want to come back. They don't want me here.
Yeah, he went to Baltimore for a year, maybe 2.
I think he went to Kansas City first.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
but he was never.
No, he never.
But he was great. He
was great for us.
For us, he had a few good years. Yeah,
2014, he was phenomenal. Yeah. I mean, like I said, he was an alternate in the Pro Bowl. I didn't count his Pro Bowls as part of our numbers up top, but he was a great player. But I mean, these were the guys that and like I said, there were some in the middle there that you can sprinkle throughout.
Right.
In the early 2000s, we had T.O. I get it, but we had him for 2 years.
Yeah.
Sorry,
14 games.
We had him for 16. We had him for 1.5 years.
Yeah, that was awful.
I mean, it's unbelievable.
It's terrible.
You got anything else to say?
Well, you could go back into the 90s. We had Chris Carter, who that was another one that we let go, and he had some couple good. He looked like he was going to be a great player for us, and then Buddy cut him. But there's a whole story on that. But we did have some. But when you have finally get that player that you've been looking for over 20 years.
Yeah.
That's just talk. They just want clicks.
I know. They just want clicks, but
it does bother. Yeah.
It's just frustrating.
Yeah.
Especially 94 WIP, like 94.1 WIP. I'm going to start listening to the Fanatic.
Right.
Tina's working over there. We
there
should
you
start
go.
listening to the Fanatic. Shout out to you, Tina.
Yep.
97.5. That's what we should be listening to.
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to jump off of the negativity so much and talk about some cool stuff, some cool changes. We got that defensive lineman coach who might be the biggest man I've ever seen in history.
Oh, yeah, that dude. I've seen him. Yeah.
He's terrifying.
Yeah, he's huge.
Clint Hurt, he's been a coach since 2003. So he's been experienced. He's been doing this a long time as a defensive lineman and defensive coordinator coach. He was Seattle's defensive coordinator last year. They weren't amazing on the defensive side, but hey, they beat us. So they were better than our defense. You know what I mean? And our defensive line incredibly underachieved. So I'll take anybody to give him a chance. And I'll take an experienced guy. I want that. I want experience.
I mean, hopefully he can motivate the guys to get ready in the offseason for the long haul.
Yeah.
We don't need you for the first 5 games of the season. We need the long haul. And, you can't really go, you've always heard that defensive players, rookies especially, they play that 10-game season and they kind of fall off at the end. It always seems to happen. And you hear about it more than anything. Same with Davis last year when he kind of fell off. And then, 2 years ago. And then last year, Carter, he looked great. Looked like he was going to be a shoe-in for the defensive player of the year or rookie of the year. He ended up with 6 sacks, and that's incredible for a defensive lineman, a rookie really especially.
Exactly, yeah.
He could have gotten 10 sacks, if he had kept it up. But so hopefully he can motivate the guys and get them in shape. I did see an interview with Davis just saying, it's on me. You take responsibility for it. I wasn't ready, and I wasn't ready for the long haul. And he said I was going to work harder. He's better than he was his rookie year, and last year he's better than he was the year before. So he says next year I hope to be better, and that's something you can just hopefully that's what Clint can motivate those guys for that.
Yeah. Sorry to go back a little bit, but could you imagine if Donovan McNabb had receivers like we have now?
Well, yeah, Pinkston was in the whole NFC Championship games.
It was Pinkston and Mitchell.
Yeah,
Pinkston and Mitchell were receivers for all 4 of those NFC Championship appearances. Could you imagine?
We could have probably broke through.
Same with the tight end. Could you imagine if McNabb had Goddard or Selleck early in his career, or Ertz? Oh my God, if Ertz, it would. Okay,
he had some good tight ends. That was what we did. We threw to the tight end and we ran the ball, but that was about it.
Not especially good tight ends. They were, Bartram and L.J. Smith and
he was a rookie.
Chad Lewis. Yeah. They were okay, but it wasn't.
L.J. was a top pick, I think, first round.
He was an early pick too, who was incredibly disappointing.
He had one good year, 2 good years maybe.
Yeah. All right, sorry, but I'm excited for this defensive lineman coach just because, it's we have that defensive line that has the talent and. We just need someone with experience. Like I said, he's been coaching since 2003.
Right.
This is not like all right, I stopped playing 2 years ago and I'm ready to come coach. No, he's been coaching since I was 5. Right. So I'm cool with that. New quarterback coach that actually we found out about 10 minutes before we started recording, Doug Nussmeier.
Yeah.
Nussmeier. I'm sorry if I don't know it.
Nuss, I think it's Nuss.
Yeah, he's going to be our new quarterbacks coach for Hurts, so that's going to be really good. Another new guy coming in who's been experienced. I don't know how long he's been around, but he's been around long enough because he's been an offensive coordinator and quarterback coach for teams like not Washington Commanders, Washington College, Alabama, Michigan, Florida, and then he was the quarterbacks coach under Kellen Moore for Dallas and the LA Chargers every single time.
So that's good. Some consistency there.
Exactly.
That's good.
At least they've been together for a long time, so Kellen Moore, he knows what he wants him to teach his quarterbacks and stuff like that. So that is a good thing to see. I know his son, we talked about, his son is the LSU quarterback now, Garrett Nussmeier.
Yep.
So he'll be taking over as starting quarterback at LSU. So if we have a bad season with Hurts or another 2 bad seasons, we might be looking at that guy. I don't know.
A couple of years down the road, I think he was a redshirt freshman last year. Yeah. I think. I'm not sure exactly.
Hopefully he doesn't come to that. Just coach Hurts to the best of your abilities, make him great again. We need to get back to 2022. We have to. Yeah. I know we talked about it. We were talking about it a little bit downstairs. We were watching some videos and some highlights and some, other Eagles talk shows and podcasts. And they were talking about, one of them mentioned the sack in Tampa Bay in the end zone.
Right.
When Hurts took that sack in the end zone.
That was Ray Didinger.
That's one of the worst plays and I'm saying this myself. It's one of the worst plays I've ever seen a quarterback make.
Yeah.
At least in the Eagles. It's one of the worst plays I've
Uncertainty. Ever seen. Just throw it into the dirt and just take the intentional grounding.
If you have to, take your chances.
Yeah.
You throw it away and
you might get a late hit.
Sometimes, yeah. I know that's bad to say, but
no,
it's a game of numbers and it's a game of percentages. That's how they know to
do what you got to do
on 4th down and 2, on 3rd and 2, on 3rd and 9. Like they have these percentages that tell you, should you go for it? Should you run it? Should you throw it? Stuff like that. Yeah. And the what's the word? The numbers. I don't know. They always say the percentages. The I can't remember.
Play the odds.
I don't know. The odds. They're there. You got to take the odds there. You can't just I'll hold on to it until I get grappled into the ground.
Yeah, that was bad,
dude. Sorry, we don't.
Well, they were talking about just the step back that it was taken by the offense. So but we'll hopefully we'll get past that with this new offense coordinator and quarterbacks coach. This is amazing. It's
great.
It's a big chance.
Speaking of Hurts and Slay went to the Pro Bowl. I know we're a little bit late to this. We kind of pushed back our recording a bit since we're since there's no football Sunday, we wanted the episode to come out on Sunday.
Sure.
But we're a little bit behind, so I know everyone probably knows. But cool to see. I don't know. The Pro Bowl means nothing to us. We've always talked about it. The Pro Bowl. I mean, in the long run, of course, it does add up to mean a lot. With Kelsey having 6 or 7 Pro Bowls, like it means a lot in his Hall of Fame possibilities. You know, but it's funny because in the time being, when you're in the present, the Pro Bowl means just nothing.
Especially when your team bows out of the playoffs early like that.
Oh yeah, well then the alternates go in, and Hurts was an alternate.
Exactly.
Geno Smith is an alternate.
Right.
And, last year Tyler Huntley made the Pro Bowl, and it's like he played 4 games.
Right.
Like it's just there's so much to it. Tua made the Pro Bowl, and then who else was the alternate on their side? I can't remember on the AFC. I can't pay enough.
Even tell you.
I can't pay enough attention to know. But good for them. Hopefully that helps them in the long run with their hopeful Hall of Fame careers.
Yeah,
I guess. You got anything else on the Eagles?
Not really. Just hopefully these guys. We have some more coaching positions to fill in, so hopefully that's done sooner than later. Because last year after the bowl we lost our 2 coaches, and I don't think we ever really recovered from that.
No, definitely.
It was kind of later down the road, and it just didn't help. So
definitely not. Right.
Now that we're get some coaches in there, and let's get the work started.
That's right. Yep. All right, we're gonna be doing a little list here that we kind of thought of. We're thinking about this. Kind of starting a list of, starting a series of lists going forward. We kind of want to be doing every episode. We're both big list guys. We talked about our top Eagles running backs all time earlier this season. We'll probably do a wide receivers list. Quarterbacks is a little bit too easy, kind of, but we'll see. We'll see what we do. But right now we have one that's non-Eagles. So we're going to be talking about our favorite non-Eagles players in history. So we both chose 5. Yep. Dad, you want to start off?
Yeah, I'll start off with number 5 this time,
okay.
and not number 1, and then work my way down.
Yeah, I was going to say that.
That's how lists work, right?
That's horrible.
Last time I did it the opposite way.
Yes, I know.
So. Okay, number 5. I don't know if you can see it. I don't want you to see it.
Right.
Number 5 for me. So top 5 non-ever Eagle player.
Hold on. Tell me what team he played for. Let me see if I can guess it.
He played for the Chicago Bears.
Brian Urlacher.
Specialist.
Whoa. Okay, no. Go ahead.
But wide receiver as well, but specialist.
Okay.
Devin Hester.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Best kick returner, punt returner of all time. And now we're saying, this is a guy that I would actually go watch another game and watch for that player. And I remember, he was just so amazing for every kickoff and every punt. And there's something to that. That's kind of been lost in this the newer NFL. You don't see as many kickoff returns and punt returns.
Yeah.
Especially for touchdowns like these guys used to do it like in the old days. But yeah, so Devin Hester, I did one in the Super Bowl way back, and that was amazing.
That's great.
They even knew that the Colts had bad coverage, and they kicked it off to him anyway, and he took it back for a touchdown.
Crazy.
They still ended up winning that Super Bowl.
Colts won that game, yeah.
So. All right, number 4, and this is one that's on everybody's list, I think, Bo Jackson.
Okay.
Now, I know you're younger and you didn't get to see him, but, man, when he first came into the NFL, I tell you, if he had never hurt his hip and played 10 years, he would have been an all-timer for sure. Yeah. This guy was amazing. Played baseball at the same time, but his football was just amazing. He would just take a pitch out and just run away from people. So he was awesome. Too bad he had a short career. Number 3, this one's kind of tough because he did a little damage to my team a few times, but Kurt Warner, amazing.
Wow, okay. He was almost on mine. I had him near.
Yeah, he's amazing. And it's funny because I used to watch him back when he was with the Rams when they won with ex-coach Dick Vermeil, who was amazing when they won the Super Bowl. Then he kind of had a few bad years there in the early 2000s. He became a fumble king. Played for the Giants for a couple of years, which was good for us because we destroyed him a few times.
Yeah.
He fumbled, I don't know, 3 or 4 times in one game once, and it was amazing. They pulled him out and they put in the rookie. Anyway,
Eli Manning.
I don't know if it was Eli back then.
Okay.
I don't think it was.
Okay.
It would have been 2002.
I know they played together because Warner.
It could have been. Okay. It could have been.
Because Warner in 04 on my Madden 05 game.
Right.
Warner is the starting quarterback on the Giants.
Okay.
Manning is his backup.
Right. Yeah. No, it was. I forget who it was, but anyway. And number 2 was another player who you hated if he was not on your team, but you loved him if he was on your team. Now, he never played for the Eagles. He wouldn't be on my list, but Randy Moss, he was amazing. The thing I loved about him was he was a Cowboys killer.
Yeah,
especially when he first came up. They had like 3 or 4 years there that they played each other, and he just destroyed them. They wanted to draft him. He wanted to be drafted by them and didn't get drafted by them. So he used to just go at him. I remember one Thanksgiving game. I think he had 3 touchdowns. 200.
I'm pretty sure it was 3 catches. 3 touchdowns were 175 yards at one point in the game.
It was incredible.
It's a graphic that exists out there.
It was incredible. And my number one, well, let me do my honorable mention first. My honorable mention was another player who was an Eagle killer, but, man, he was a great player. And, of course, I lived in Phoenix there for years, so we used to watch the Cardinals a lot on regular TV when they would come on the late game. Larry Fitzgerald, he was incredible.
No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, but he was an incredible player. It's kind of sad the way his career ended. He just kind of never really retired. He just kind of disappeared for a couple of years. Then he finally came out and said he retired, but I don't know. That's just the way he wanted to go out. But and my number one was Barry Sanders. You know, if you were watching football in the 90s, regardless of what team you liked or not, he was just unbelievable to watch him play. He was just so incredible. I mean, you know, he was like a pinball out there. He would just bounce around and, you know, make plays. And he always, you know, he was also he didn't really kill the Eagles that often. We didn't play him that often, but, you know, I could probably go back and look it up, but I don't think there was many games that he played.
Yeah.
But he just destroyed the Cowboys a lot back in the day, which was great to watch. But he was also just a great player to watch. Very humble guy. You know, he wasn't one of those showboats. He didn't jump into the big bowl at the end of the end zone on the Goodwill Bowl Christmas time or anything like that.
Yep.
He put the ball in the ref's hands and ran back to the sideline. So
yeah,
if you're an old school guy that like that non-showboat type player, he was your man. So, yeah, that's my list.
Cool. I like it. Say it again, all 5 to 1.
So I got
quick.
Devin Hester, Bo Jackson, Kurt Warner, Randy Moss, Larry Fitz, honorable mention, and Barry Sanders.
Good list. It's a good list.
Thank you.
Good list. So I'm going to go through mine. I'm going to, instead of having you guess the first one, I'm going to have you try to guess my last one, my number one.
Okay.
So go number 5. I got Julius Peppers.
Oh, wow.
Dude, he was great.
Yeah, he was.
He is one of those players that, and I know there were players that did it before, but he's one of those players that changed the defensive end role. He was a guy that was defensive end and an outside linebacker.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. No, he was definitely,
You know, I know LT was that too, Lawrence Taylor. He was kind of the prototype of that. But Julius Peppers lived through the time where defensive ends became outside linebackers.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like they changed and they were both.
And like I said, with LT, he was more of a linebacker, just a blitzing linebacker. He didn't really line up on the end like Peppers did.
Yeah.
Pepper was incredible.
Peppers
was a great player.
Dude, Peppers in his last season had like 6 or 7 sacks. Like he was still doing it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
In his second to last season, he had 11, I think. You know, like it's just incredible. And you know, he even got us one time in the year we won the Super Bowl. He had a sack fumble on Wentz in the Panthers-Eagles game.
Wow,
like
that was a tight game.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah. He beat Mailata. Mailata was the right tackle that day, or no? Yes, I think Mailata was starting at right tackle because no, it was Big V. It was Big V.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Have Mailata.
Yeah, Mailata was still.
I'm sorry. It was Big V.
Yeah, he might have been drafted yet, but he was still.
He was on. He was not drafted.
Cool.
Yeah,
very good.
Big V was the right tackle, and he beat him around there. Yeah. Next one.
Sorry, Big V. Now he played for Detroit, but he didn't play in the playoff game.
Correct.
I was kind of hoping he would because that would have been cool. Because
I know.
You know, he worked his butt off to get where he was too. But
he did.
Sorry, go ahead.
All right, so yeah, Julius Peppers number 5. Next, I got Peyton Manning. Easy one there. Yeah. Peyton Manning was just one of those guys that I don't know how you didn't like him unless you played in the same division as him. But I just don't know many people that don't like Peyton
It's
Manning.
funny. One of my buddies, Ernie, my buddy from a long time ago, his girlfriend at the time, she loved him, and I'm like, how can
really?
I guess back then I was one of those younger crazy Eagle fans who just couldn't respect any player that wasn't on the Eagles. Yeah, she loved, and I would be like, you know, how can you traitor? You know, and I know that's not right. Karen, she just loved him, and I just remember she even had a shirt, and I just like, how can you, you know? And I'm like you back then. You're this way you are now. How could you have a girlfriend who's, you know, that likes a player from? She was an big time Eagles, but she loved Peyton Manning, and I just remember now I can understand it. I respect it because I've grown. Yeah, but
I understand.
Back in those days, I hated anybody that wasn't on the Eagles.
It's blind rage. Here's the thing: when you finally win a Super Bowl in our decade,
I think that makes a difference.
If you win a Super Bowl in our century, I think you start to go, okay, I can respect everybody else.
Yeah. Well, that's like even making this list up. This didn't take me 5 minutes. This took me about half an hour.
Yeah.
Just to sit there and go,
who do I like?
No, I hate him. No. I remember in 2001 he got us. No, I hate him too. No, you're right.
See, for me, it was I had all 32 teams minus the Eagles, so 31 teams.
Right.
And I went to teams that I knew they would not be on my list.
Right.
It's like there's not going to be a single Cowboy on my list. There's no way.
Right.
There's probably not going to be a single Giant. There's not going to be a Commander,
Right,
a Redskin.
Yeah.
There's probably not going to be a Packer. Now Julius Peppers breaks that rule. He was on the Packers for a bit, but I didn't like him when he was on the Packers. But
I almost had
the Patriots weren't going to have any. I knew, I got rid of teams that I knew they're just not. I hate all of those guys.
I almost put the great Washington Redskins defensive back who played for 20 years. I can't think of his name.
Yeah,
but I almost put him on here. He was an amazing player.
Okay.
But I'm like, I can't do it.
Can't do it.
I can't do it.
All right, so next I got J.J. Watt.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I forgot about him. Yeah.
J.J. Watt was one of those players, man.
You watched the game to see him play. Yeah, you're right. You're right.
It's true.
Yeah.
You did. You watched the game to see him play. And, I know I said it earlier in the podcast, I don't love the whole in his prime, yada, yada, yada. It's stupid.
Right.
Longevity matters. But in his prime, I'll go ahead and do mine. J.J. Watt is the greatest defensive player to ever play football.
He was incredible.
In his prime,
yeah.
I believe he's the greatest defensive player ever. He was unbelievable.
He definitely changed the way the game was played.
Oh, yeah. He should have won MVP. They stole it from him. That was BS. I think Rodgers took it from him, who I hate. I don't know for sure. I might be wrong. I'm sorry.
Right.
But he should have won MVP that year.
Yeah.
He caught 3 touchdowns that year.
Right. As a tight end in the goal line.
He had 5 total touchdowns because he had an interception for a touchdown. He had a pick 6 that was 80 yards. He had a fumble recovery for a touchdown that was 75 yards.
Yeah.
He was insane. He's one of those players that you had to watch.
Yeah.
Just incredible.
Well, then I remember he went to the Cardinals there at the end of his career, and they were a pretty good team, and you were hoping that he would get something with him, go to the playoffs,
In his last year with the Cardinals, he had 12 and a half sacks. Isn't that incredible? 12 and a half sacks. In his last year.
That's,
He has 195 total tackles for loss. He has the record for 39 tackles for loss in one of his seasons.
Wow.
But he just was incredible.
So what did he finish with career sacks?
Career sacks-wise, he had 114 and a half.
Okay.
Yeah, he had some down seasons. He had a lot of injuries seasons. 2016, 2017, he only played 3 games, 5 games.
And I only ask you that because I know, the record is 200, I think.
Yes, it's far away. Yeah.
But 114 and a half. I mean, but that's just such a.
How about this though? 114 and a half in 151 games played.
Right.
That take away the seasons. Seasons become hard because they say, this season, he played 1 game.
Right.
This season he played 3. In 151 games, he had 114 and a half sacks.
Yeah.
That's pretty incredible.
No, for sure.
He was amazing. Next, I've got another amazing player who also, similar to your guy, you said Barry Sanders, went through the same thing. Too short of a career, should be an all-timer, Calvin Johnson, Megatron.
Yeah, you know how I feel about him.
You didn't love him.
I know.
I did.
Go ahead.
Now he had 300. He did 3 touchdowns against us one time, and that sucked. Okay, I agree with
you.
But he was an unbelievable player. I think 1,900 yards. He's got the most yards receiving in an NFL season with 1970 or 1954.
Wow. Yeah.
I know I didn't have all the. I should have had all the stats lined up when I was.
He's probably up there in career topper too. He's probably one of the top career guys.
I'm sure he is. I like I said, I should have probably had this all prepared.
And see, that's probably why he's one of those guys that I just never liked because of that.
1960, 1,964 yards, 11,000 total receiving yards.
Okay.
I don't think that's really
it's
not that high up in the receiving yards leader, but
it's top 20 maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe even
but
higher.
That's the thing. He had such a shortened career. Because
I was going to say.
He only played from 07 to 15.
Yeah, that's pretty short.
And it wasn't like injuries were the thing, but he just didn't play anymore.
Yeah.
Kind of lost his love for the game. But
some players, they get out before you get injured. I mean,
yeah.
I want to be able to walk when I'm older, and he was definitely a great player. And I know he had some probably top game yardage.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
300 yards, 260 yards.
I know one game he had a ungodly amount of yards receiving.
Yeah. All right, number 1. Can you guess it? I can't give away the team. It's the only team he played for. I don't know. Position? You want position? Or is that too easy? Quarterback?
Gosh. I don't know.
Big Ben Roethlisberger.
Oh, of course. I should have known that. Yeah. You love Ben.
I loved Big Ben.
I almost put him on my list.
I still do.
I almost put him on there.
I know he's kind of I'm not going to speak to everyone's human, the side of them outside of football, because I know he's maybe not the greatest person to ever live. I'm gonna jump aside from all that. I'm not going to talk about that.
I hear you.
Because if we're talking about that, J.J. Watt, he's number 1 because he's one of the greatest guys. He's a really good guy.
Right,
did a lot for the city of Houston. And all of Texas involved.
Now you were a Big Ben guy.
But Big Ben, he was great.
2 Super Bowls.
That's 2 Super Bowls.
That's one of the things.
No Super Bowl MVPs. No MVPs. he was a pick master, but the biggest thing about him was he would throw a pick, and it just didn't affect anything at all.
Yeah.
There was no just threw a pick. No,
Yeah.
there was none of that.
So I wonder
nothing affected him.
Did he ever have a losing season too? Because I know the coach there never did.
So then, I mean, unless he had one before he showed up,
I
then no.
doubt it.
Then yeah.
I mean, that's a big thing right there, to never have that 3-13 season where you can reload with the new offensive lineman and get it yourself a defensive end that's been the top guy. I mean, that makes a big change, though. I don't know. They probably don't show record there, but because he won a Super Bowl in his second season.
Yeah.
In the first season, I don't even know if he played.
There was a time.
That worked.
No, they didn't win. They won a Super Bowl in his second season.
His second season.
His rookie year, they went 13-0 when he played. He was 13-0, but he lost in the playoffs.
That's amazing.
He won one game in the playoffs, lost the second, but they didn't get to the Super Bowl. They won the Super Bowl in his second year, but he was 9-3 in that. He was often injured as well. Showing here, he did have one time in 2 games he was 0-2, so that's his losing season.
Oh, so he didn't play the rest of the. He only
started
two games.
2 games. He lost both games. So other than that,
but I'm talking his team.
Other than that, his team never had a losing season when he started more than 2 games.
Yeah.
He never had a losing season.
No, he was and you know, it's great. I was going to say probably one of my top 10 Eagles games. You know, we haven't done that list yet, but top 10 Eagles games was when we destroyed them one year when we were nobodies and they were a good team.
And we killed them.
But it goes back to when we were a great team in the old days and they whipped us. We were 8-0 and they came in and just destroyed us.
But Big Ben was also symbolic in the sense of people who look like me. And as you can see, I'm sitting behind here. I'm a big guy. I'm a big dude. And Big Ben was the first one of us to, you know, I know John Elway was a bigger guy, you know, but Big Ben was the first one who was that an offensive lineman?
Yeah.
Why is he wearing the number 7?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
true. He was.
It's incredible that he was able to do the things he did with his size. You know, he played wide receiver in high school. That's another thing.
I didn't know that. That's
he
crazy.
played wide receiver in high school, and the coach's son was the quarterback.
Wow.
And he said, "Oh yeah, my son throwing to Ben, he's better. He's better." And it's just kind of funny.
Yeah. It's because Ben was 6'5".
That's the thing.
Ran over every DB ever saw in his life.
I can't imagine. So yeah, Big Ben number 1. I have some honorable mentions. Tony Gonzalez. I think
tight end.
I think he's one of the best tight ends in the world. I thought
he
was a really rough player, a great player. Jared Allen, another really good defensive end.
Man, he was
similar
tough.
to J.J. Watt in type of style, but you know he wasn't as dominant as J.J. Watt.
It's funny because Allen, he was another one, a 15 sack every year guy.
Yeah,
but he played for Minnesota, and you know they didn't win much. So, I mean, so you don't get that extra accolade, that top of the thing. But yeah, he was a terrifying player too, man. He scared the crap out of everybody. He was amazing.
Jared Allen. He ended up with 136 sacks, which I think is 5th or 6th all time. So
I would say
he's above JJ in the sacks
that guy
department.
Was amazing, man.
And then next I have Drew Brees.
Okay,
Drew Brees was a similar player to Peyton Manning, who I couldn't hate.
Yeah,
I just never hated him.
You couldn't. Yeah,
there was just no way to hate him. I don't know why.
I'm not
There's
a Saints
lot of
guy.
Guys like that. There's a lot of quarterbacks like that. Tom Brady is just the most hateable quarterback.
Right,
ever.
right. But you know, and you know, you could say something for him. You know, I mean, I can't say I put games on to watch him, but when I'd see him in the playoffs every year,
he was.
There's just no stopping this guy. He was just incredible.
Yeah,
but I mean, we're talking my favorite non-Eagle player, not the league's non-favorite.
Oh,
you know?
yeah.
So, but yeah, that's why I didn't put Brady on there. But he's a great player. But
I hated him.
But you know, it's fun to make that list because, like I say, I loved watching Devin Hester. I loved watching Bo Jackson. It was a shame that he didn't get to play more because I'm telling you, if he had played another 5 or 6 years, he would have been the best. He was amazing.
So I'm going to say my 5 again. Julius Peppers, Peyton Manning, J.J. Watt, Calvin Johnson, and Ben Roethlisberger.
Nice.
Yep. All right. In other news, let's talk about some other sports. I don't want to delve on it too long because I'm pretty depressed. Embiid, he tore his lateral meniscus. The Sixers are now 30-18. They had lost 5 straight, but then they just won one the other night where Maxey dropped 51. It was great. That makes them 4-10 on the season without Embiid. So that's where we're a little bit worried going forward. It's a little scary.
Do they have any projections? How long he'll be out? Is he going to have surgery? Is he not going to have surgery?
No, they're taking this weekend. There's nothing yet. They were taking this weekend to announce
sometimes a meniscus will
but
repair itself if they don't cut it out of there.
But yeah, they said that they're taking this weekend to kind of make the plan on what to do. But we'll see. I mean, Maxey still gives us a chance, dude. He's incredible. 51 points the other night, like I said.
And the record is
30-18.
So you're talking still mid-season here.
Yeah, we're about to be at the All-Star break. We're close. Well, not about to be. We're getting close to it.
Okay.
But, Maxey made the All-Star team. That's the other thing I was going to say. And
nice.
he made it as a starter as always. But
right.
Maxey made the All-Star team, so that's great to see. Flyers, they lost 5 straight. They are still in the playoff picture, but they're at the very bottom of it.
Wow.
So we'll see what happens there. They did go on a little bit of a rough run there. Hopefully they can turn it around. They are also on their All-Star break. Oh, their All-Star game's today. Not today.
Yeah, but, I saw some stuff last night.
Today's Saturday.
Skills.
But Sunday, tomorrow, you'll be seeing already who won and what happened.
I won't be seeing it, but
no, I don't watch that stuff. I don't watch that crap. But
no.
You got anything else?
What was you going to say about Embiid? So they don't know what they're going to do.
Yeah, just waiting.
So hopefully it's surgery for a guy like that, but because he's, like you say, so tall,
7'2",
that's a pounding on the knees, man. That's not good. But
it's not good at all.
All right. Well, no, that's all I got.
And let me just say, a lot of people I know, and I know my friends are excluded because they're supposed to give me crap and talk smack to me. But there was a lot of, LeBron James came out and said, and I don't know if you saw, but there was a lot of people in the media questioning Embiid's injury and the significance of it because he didn't play in the Nuggets game. There was a lot of people saying, "Oh, he's afraid. He's afraid. Yeah. He's ducking the Nuggets. Doesn't want to play in Denver and all that stuff." And then they fined the Sixers for announcing it so late because he was announced about 5 minutes before the game that he wasn't going to play.
All right, yeah,
so they fined him, and not him, the Sixers,
right? And
now in LeBron James, he went out on Twitter because Embiid got hurt, and LeBron went on Twitter and was like, I saw thousands of posts about this dude and people on their podcasts and on media and on the news or not the news, but on SportsCenter and all that sort of stuff, talking crap about this dude not playing. And now he went back into play because he felt he was forced to go back into play too early and got hurt. Tore it. Not hurt it more. He tore it.
Right.
And LeBron he's like, no one has apologized yet. No one has come out to say, "Oh, we were wrong."
Shamed him into playing.
Exactly, and a lot of people were pointing out the Nuggets media,
right?
Because the Nuggets were doing that big time with their whole, "Oh, he won't play." And, well, congratulations.
Yeah. Well,
congrats.
Yeah.
Good job. All right, you got anything else?
No, I don't.
All righty. You can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter. If you like our Eagles Therapy podcast, do us a favor, rate and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. If you're watching on YouTube, please like and subscribe. Comment below. Let us know your 5 your favorite team's favorite players. If you're a Broncos fan, who are your 5 non-Broncos favorite players? Let us know. Let us know
who you always wanted on your team, but you couldn't get.
Exactly. Yeah. Let us know who your 5 favorite players who are excluding your team. We'd love to hear about that. But other than that, you can email us any questions or comments at oureaglestherapy@gmail.com. But other than that, from us here at Our Eagles Therapy Podcast, I'm Basil.
And I'm Baz.
Go Birds.
And fly, Eagles, fly.